Hey, what's happening? This is Isai Rodriguez, host of the Destination Podcast, where I cater to professional working man, 40 and above, who's looking to make positive changes to his health, lose weight, and become stronger overall through simple lifestyle changes. I'm here to share inspiration, tips, and proven lessons that I've personally learned and lived through in my 40 plus years on this beautiful blue planet. So today we'll start off the discussion by talking about the weekly hit session Goldilocks zone in our first segment. And then we'll move on to our second segment and talk about the number one thing that gets women to swipe right. And before we get into that, if you'd like to join the conversation, then get on over to podcast.dastination.com/VIP to get on the VIP Insiders community, where I share more entertaining, behind-the-scenes stories, tips, and hacks that'll keep you feeling younger each and every day. That's podcast.dastination.com/VIP. Again, that's podcast.dastination.com/VIP. Be in the know starting right now. Also, don't forget to rate me on Apple Podcasts or wherever it is that you're listening to this episode right now. And leave me a nice, fat, juicy 5-star review and some absolutely beautiful words of why you love the show so much. It really helps me get the word out, and it's honestly one place where your vote truly matters. And now, let's move into our first segment with Healthy Conversations. So hey now, in this week's installment of Healthy Conversations, we're talking about HIIT sessions or HIIT workouts, or more specifically, the weekly HIIT session, quote unquote, Goldilocks zone. So this zone, I'm sure you're aware of the Goldilocks story about the porridge not being too hot and not being too cold, just being just right. Like, I know you're, I'm not going to explain that to you. You know that already. You know the story. And there's, this is a good one now because science has actually given us the magic number, or this Goldilocks number, this not too much, not too many, just right number of HIIT sessions per week that we should be doing in order to get the most out of each session. Now, I'm not gonna explain what HIIT sessions are. Again, we've talked about this in the past. These are workouts that incorporate bursts of all-out intensive workout, like burpees or just like or push-ups or whatever the exercise is, just going all out, giving it 110%, and then pulling back and resting for a period of time. So again, I'm pretty excited about this because I kind of love HIIT workouts, and I do have a passion for science too. So if I can marry them up like this, it really gets me going. And why wouldn't it? I mean, again, HIIT workouts in general have a lot of good things going for them. You know, so like they serve double duty to build strength and spike your heart rate. And as you know, I love efficiency. I always say that, so these short bursts of effective workouts that make up a traditional HIIT routine are truly, truly efficient in every sense of the word. I mean, think about it. All you really need is 20 free minutes to squeeze a solid session into your day. But there's something that science discovered. Again, I'm always looking for science behind everything. So according to new research, too much HIIT activity may actually be doing your body harm. That's right. You heard me. It can actually be hurting you. And I'm sure that's not what you want, right? Am I right? In general, overtraining comes along with a set of risks. I think this goes without saying. If you work out too much, you can exhaust your body, disrupt your sleep patterns, and ultimately leave yourself more prone to injury and mood swings. Who the hell signed up for that? You know what I mean? I'm not looking to exhaust my body, disrupt my sleep. I mean, I have no problems with that already. You know what I mean? I'm trying to mitigate that as much as possible. I'm trying to push away those side effects, And so the research showed that when you're doing too much HIIT in particular, the potential issues are amplified even further. So in this study out of the Swedish School of Sport and Health Sciences, 11 healthy volunteers were put through regular HIIT sessions on an exercise bike. The test that they used was it was pretty straightforward. There was really not much to it, So what they did was they had these volunteers do intervals of all-out pedaling, followed by short periods of rest. And then they gradually increased the time they spent working out over the course of 4 weeks. And what they found actually surprised them. So at first, doing moderate amounts of HIIT improved their performance. They found that they were producing more mitochondria, which, if you remember from biology class, is the powerhouse, quote unquote, of the cells, for lack of better terms. But when they built up to doing these HIIT workouts nearly every day, what they found was that their fitness gains and this mitochondrial function started to fail. Go figure that. Like, this failure, if you will, led to a disturbance in their recorded blood sugar. Like, there was this fluctuation, a massive fluctuation in the recording levels of their blood sugar level, for lack of better terms. Now, in the past, this has been linked to like anxiety and crappy sleep, for lack of better terms, and believe it or not, this isn't the first time that science has suggested that going overboard on HIIT may be a problem. Because these workouts, they tend to involve a lot of jumping. They have a well-earned reputation for being not so good on your joints. You know what I mean? Plus, since the whole point of this type of training is to alternate between all-out effort and rest, well, if you're not giving your body the right amount of time to recover between sessions, you're not going to get the most out of your time with those workouts. That's just basically it, So instead of like choosing to go with this more is more approach, like quote unquote more is more, when you're doing your HIIT workouts, like you should limit yourself to 90 minutes of this type of workout per week at most. Like, that's what these studies have indicated, because this is the point that they say that is where they started, or they noticed, they started seeing the benefits of the HIIT workouts. Like, it started declining. Like, they were following the numbers and they just saw this spike or this decline right around the 90 minutes per week point or mark. You know what I mean? So your best bet is basically to pencil in 3 30-minute sessions over the course of 7 days. So that's, think about it. All you have to do is three little tiny workouts of 30 minutes per week. You can do that, right? How awesome is that? Let me know in the comments. And actually, trainers recommend spacing out your HIIT workouts so that you're not doing them 2 days in a row. This will give your muscles plenty of time to rest and reset so that you can perform at max effort the next time you hit the gym. Because that's the key with these HIIT workouts. If you're literally not going all out, and mind you, like, your all out may not be as high as my all out. Like, the amount of effort that I can put out at any given time may not be as much as yours, so this differs from person to person, but as long as you're giving it your all for that short burst of time, then you're good. But again, the key is getting that rest between workouts. So you don't want to be doing it back to back to back. You want a little rest in between. Again, this will give your muscles plenty of time to rest, reset, and so that you're all in the very next time you're at the gym. Now, on those recovery days, quote unquote, you can actually still do other cardio and strength building workouts. Actually, this is what's recommended. Like, you should still be working out pretty much every day or a good portion of the week. You just don't want to be doing HIIT workout after HIIT workout after HIIT workout, because it goes back to that. It's partially goes back to that whole confusion thing with the muscles, where if you do the same thing over and over and over again, like your body gets used to it, and the effects or the benefits of the workout that you're doing, starts to reduce after some time, or lessens over some time, like a certain period of days or whatever. So maybe, instead of doing HIIT back to back to back, maybe treat yourself to a nice yoga stretch or even a few minutes of your hypervolt massaging. You want to be active, but you don't want to be killing yourself. Just make sure to leave your all-out moments for your HIIT workouts. If you're actually incorporating that into your workout strategy. So the truth is that mixing things up with high intensity and low intensity workouts is your best bet for making true gains. Plus, it'll keep you from feeling bored and burnt out by your routine. You know what I mean? So again, too much of any single type of workout is never a good idea. Your body and muscles, they get used to it, and then it becomes less and less effective. So if you're doing the same workout day in and day out, then you should really consider this message, this podcast episode, consider this your cue to call it quits and try something new, or at least switch it up. If you're struggling to find new, interesting ways to mix up your exercise routines, then that's just another reason for you to continue the conversation with me over in the VIP community. Again, I'm always sharing new and interesting ways to sweat and, still keep it fun and interesting, because listen, the more you know, the better you'll be. And so with all that said and done, let's switch gears and move on to our second segment with Mighty Man. Yeah, baby. So in this week's installment of Mighty Man, we're talking about the number one thing that gets women to swipe right. And you guys, you know what I'm talking about, because this swiping right has become common knowledge these days. You know what I mean? I don't even have to tell you what I'm talking about, and you know what I'm talking about, So anyway, research shows that what I'm about to share with you is in fact what gets women to swipe to the right and not to the left. And for the record, this is research based, not my opinion, and certainly not my experience. But let's have some fun with it anyway, you know what I mean? And so if you're single, I'm pretty sure you already know that it's rough out there in today's dating market, you know what I mean? I have a few coworkers and some friends also that have, they've all found themselves out there on the market for X, Y, and Z reasons. Who knows? Well, I know, I'm just not going to disclose that. But like now, I have my suspicions, but I'm pretty sure that being stuck with that significant other for over a year now and not being able to, quote unquote, have a life and go see friends and whatnot, pretty sure this had something to do with it. But that being said, they're on the market, and apparently there's like all these new dating apps popping up almost every day. You know what I mean? And these dating apps are providing an endless stream of potential partners to choose from, period. But what's funny is that this ability to have endless potential mates at your fingertips, you know what I mean? It only makes the whole selection and matching process, if you will, it makes it harder, because you have so many to choose from. And before you bite my head off, I understand that not all of them are created equal, but not only that, you're dealing with more timeless dating problems like, again, questionable chemistry, mysterious motives, like people have their own agenda, and not to mention the ever popular baggage on both ends of this smartphone screen. Many men, they also report feeling generally and genuinely mystified by what the hell women want in a partner. So much so that you have to wonder how anyone gets together or hooks up in the end, or like, how is it done? I don't know. With so much that you have to go through, it's no wonder like people are, let's not get into that. But, thankfully, there's a new study that kind of sheds some light on the question of, quote unquote, what women want. And to be honest, if this question can be answered or demystified, then it might just help some people to couple up. So the study published in Science Advances, basically they analyzed data from these online dating apps, and they determined that in the hierarchy of desirable traits, being highly educated was considered the most attractive quality in men. Now, I'm not sure if this is or has been the case, but I've always tried to sound smart and it never worked for me. So I'm not exactly sure if this truly is the case. Maybe I thought I was sounding smart, but maybe I was sounding dumb. I don't know. That's another topic for another discussion. But maybe because me trying to sound so smart, again, maybe I sounded dumb. I don't know, but it is what it is. But apparently, the desirability is associated with education for men. And so the more education you have, the more desirable you appear to women. Go figure that. Like, what do you think about these research results, fellas? Do you agree with that? Or is that your experience? I don't know. Drop it in the comments. Let me know. You too, ladies. I want to see the comments section light up right now. Drop your thoughts in the comments section too, because this was kind of an eye-opener for me, to be honest with you. It showed that men with higher degrees had higher message rates from online daters, and they tended to interact more with women who were themselves considered highly desirable or highly educated, for lack of better terms. Crazy stuff, actually. But there was an article in my hometown paper, the New York Times, that basically talked about how marriage rates have how they've been declining. They've been dropping amongst men without college degrees. Now that just kind of took me back a little. It kind of looks like women are tired of dealing with the dumbass jocks that have nothing better to talk about than Sunday night football. No offense, guys. I love football, by the way. Go Big Blue. G-Men in the house. But it is what it is, right? I guess science don't lie. No, but really, this article in the New York Times suggested that as women are themselves reaching for higher levels of education, they're more interested in someone with the same potential or more. So basically, since more women are educating themselves, getting higher degrees, and they're adopting this go fuck yourself mentality, independent woman, really pushing the boundary, which is great. I promote that. It's a lovely thing. But that being said, if you don't happen to hold a degree, don't worry. There are several more qualities which women tend to rank as highly important in a potential partner. This means you might still actually have a chance to land that hottie with your witty charm and loving warmth. Just think about Leonard Hofstadter from The Big Bang Theory, how he landed Penny. Anyway, especially if you manage to meet her in real life. Again, think of Leonard Hofstadter. If you meet him in real life, or as the kids are calling it these days, IRL, you have a better chance of her noticing your witty charm. But enough of that. Let's get into what it is that makes women swipe right on your Tinder profile. So the number one quality, according to this research, was intelligence, as we just said. We were just talking about this. Intelligence and education are often intertwined, but they're not exactly the same thing. And research shows that many women value intelligence in a man, regardless of whether there's a degree to validate it or not. So there's plenty of bright and curious people without a PhD. So be sure to share your other passions and accomplishments with a proud chest and your chin held high. You know what I mean? Because being smart on paper isn't the only type of intelligence out there. Not to get too deep into a psychological conversation, but there are actually 8 different types of intelligences. And if you want to know more about that, just Google the phrase Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences and be prepared to have your mind blown, because you'll be surprised that you may resonate with 1, 2, or multiple of these intelligences. You may see yourself in multiple categories, or you can alternatively opt to continue the conversation with me and the community. I know we've talked about this in the past, and it's always a good one. And that being said, let's move on to quality number 2, and that's kindness. So if there's one thing that research shows is that women really want a partner who is kind. Ladies, if you're listening, let me know. What are your thoughts? In fact, one international survey that polled over 14,000 people across 45 countries found that this was considered the single most important quality in a potential mate. So it kind of ranks up there with the intelligence thing. So let me ask you, what kindness have you spread into the world today? Drop it in the comments and let me know what kindness you've brought to the world today, all right? And while you do that, let's move on to quality number 3. And here we have generosity. So you can't exactly put your generosity into your online dating profile, can you? Or at least I don't think you can. But hear me out here. If you demonstrate this desirable quality in person, women will notice. Again, ladies, what do you think? Drop it in the comments. And while you do that, we'll talk about this study from Indiana University that found that generosity tends to create this quote unquote this halo effect that increases a man's overall attractiveness. What say you, ladies? Yes? No? Agree? Disagree with that halo effect thing? Again, drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think. And while you're doing that, we'll move on to quality number 4, which is confidence. Now, this goes without saying that there's a really, really thin line between confidence and cockiness, or just being a plain dick. While cockiness is likely to ultimately put women off, demonstrating your confidence helps others buy in to who you are and see you through a more angelic lens, period. You know what I mean? So that being said, show off your best qualities and take ownership of your quirks and shortcomings, So in other words, fellas, just be yourself and own it. You are who you are, and nobody's gonna change that, Just don't be a dick about it. Own up to it and realize when you're being cocky versus being confident. Do that, and your odds of finding the right fit should multiply dramatically. And there you have it. If you want more women swiping right so hard on your profile that your phone flies out of their hand, then I'd rewind this back about 10 or 15 minutes or so and take some notes of what I just shared, because it's actually easier than what you thought. I'd even add on one of my own, and that's honesty. Really, be kind, be intelligent, be generous, be confident, and for fuck's sake, be honest. And so, with those 5 traits, you'll have plenty of women swiping to the right on your profile, and if you're lucky, maybe swiping on other things too, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink. And so, with all that said and done, that's it, you guys. That's my show for today. Hope you found some valuable information here, and if nothing else, I hope I've entertained you for a few minutes and was able to bring a little manly sunshine to your day. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to listen to me. It's very much appreciated. On next week's episode, we'll get a little philosophical and answer the question, what is a healthy weight? So fellas, you definitely do not want to miss out on that. And if you loved what you heard in today's episode and want more actionable topics just like these, then you, my friend, need to join the conversation with me and the rest of the community by heading on over to podcast.gaspination.com/VIP to get on the VIP Insiders community, where I share exclusive, raw, behind-the-scenes stories, tips, and hacks that'll keep you feeling younger and younger each and every day. That's podcast.gaspination.com/VIP. Again, that's podcast.gaspination.com/VIP. Be in the know starting right now. Also, don't forget to rate me on Apple Podcasts or wherever it is that you're listening to this episode right now. And leave me a nice, fat, juicy 5-star review and some absolutely beautiful words of why you love the show so much. It really helps me get the word out, and it's honestly the one place where your vote truly matters. Until our next chat, take care now. Bye.